I welcome you all on behalf of Infinity Scholars Hub to today's face-to-face webinar with Aditi Agrawal. It is a matter of great pride and pleasure for me both because Aditi is one of my students. I taught her in way back in 2013 and 15 for her JEE Main and Advanced. And when you see your students who over a period of time become successful and they are on the path of success, and when you see that they are following their passion, their interest, and they are doing jobs of their liking, it gives a pleasure that you can't explain in words. And Aditi is one such case where when she came to us in 2013 and she was uh, taking coaching for her JEE Main and JEE Advanced with us, so I found a spark in her that she is meant for a creative line. And over a period of time, with more discussion with her and her parents, I realized that she is meant to be an engineer. At the same time, she has to capture her interest in creativity as well. So I suggested her to choose architecture or something related to designing. And here we have Aditi with us. So again, it's a matter of great pleasure for me. Again, I'm saying that because अदिति ने वो कर दिखाया जो मैं चाहता हूँ हर बच्चा करे. She followed her passion and now she is quite successful. To give a brief introduction about Aditi is that uh, he is a young graduate from architecture college. It's a very prestigious college in India, that is SPA Bhopal, School of Planning and Architecture. And she completed her graduation, I think 2 years back, and that time her final year was going on when the situation of COVID struck the whole of the nation, and they started their own company as well. She'll explain about everything about her academic as well as professional journey in today's webinar. And she worked with many prestigious organizations. She is presently with Gensler, and earlier she worked with very great architect, that is Professor Christopher Charles Benninger. So in today's webinar, she'll be telling us more about her academic journey and professional journey so far. And at the end, we will also discuss about various insights into the uh, career options in architecture. So Aditi, welcome. Thank you.
Hello, sir. Thank you.
तो आप थोड़ा सा पहले बताइए briefly आपके बारे में कि आप you're from like your family background and your academic background.
Sure. So, hello, my name is Aditi Agrawal. My parents are, my mom's a teacher and an interior designer, and my father is a software engineer. So
Okay.
I decided to do engineering when I finished my 10th, but when I joined my coaching at Fiji, Himanshu sir was my physics teacher and also my mentor throughout. And he suggested, I think in my 12th, that I do architecture. He wanted me to go into a creative field. So that is when I decided I will give the second JE paper, which gives you the opening into architecture. So after that, I got my placing into SPA Bhopal, which is one of the best colleges in India. And then I graduated in 2020, which was the year we got hit by the pandemic. And after which I worked for about a year with Professor Christopher Charles Benninger, who is a graduate from MIT and Harvard and is one of the best architects in India. And I was lucky to get that because at that time there was no hiring. And after that, now I am currently working with Gensler, which is the world #1 firm for architecture among the corporates, of course. But yes, so that's a brief introduction about me.
Great, great Aditi. बहुत अच्छा लगा सुन के. Now tell me, सब students को इस stage में, those who are in 11th and 12th, they really want to know whether you really enjoyed studying during your 11th and 12th?
It was full of challenges. So it was a way that there's never enough challenge for you. So it is great like that. And it was fun because like there's constantly something to do. You never get bored of it. So of
Okay,
course,
okay.
like the subjects you like, and there will be subjects that you're not very fond of. So for me, physics was a subject I really liked, and chemistry was something I found very difficult. Overall, it was a very fun process, and you get to learn a lot other than just the subjects. When you're going through this, you learn about time management, you learn about how you're supposed to be focused on something when you want it.
Okay.
But of course, like IITs and NITs are not the end of life, but it's great if you're able to get there.
नहीं, that's very fine actually. मैं देखता हूँ बच्चों को इतना क्रेज है आईआईटीज में जाने का, एनआईटीज में जाने का. Of course, they are great institutes. They are institutes of repute. You get a great culture and everything is there. But that's not the end of it. IIT नहीं
Yes.
होगा, NIT नहीं होगा तो कोई ना कोई अच्छा कॉलेज. The only thing is that you should, मतलब मेरा ऐसा फीलिंग है कि बच्चों को वो चूज़ करना चाहिए wherein their aptitude lies, जिसको वो really
Yes.
enjoy करें, and they can, like when you are going for a job or when you are, let's say, just running your own business, you should be enjoying what you are doing. ठीक है, money is important but that should be secondary,
Yes.
and I think you fit into that case where you followed your passion. Okay, and I believe that you are on the path of success, and definitely we'll see you coming with flying colors in coming 10-20 years.
Thank you.
Okay, चलिए अब मुझे ये बताइए कि like in the academic journey as well as in your professional journey, although it's very brief, what has been your biggest challenge, and uh, were you able to overcome it, and if yes, how you did that? थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में बच्चों को बताइए.
Sure. So my biggest challenge, I would say, would be graduating in 2020 with there was so much uncertainty at that time. So we have our thesis in the final year, which is something that you discuss a lot with your batchmates, with your seniors and juniors, and you're appointed a mentor. So you have constant discussions with your mentor about what you're doing with your thesis. It's your final project in architecture school. So we do our thesis from home, and that was a huge challenge because even the college, even the students, everyone was figuring out how things have to be done now. It was a sudden change that no one saw coming. So we had flexible deadlines. We didn't know when what would come our way. So that was a huge challenge. And then once that was done, there was again the block in the career path where everyone had plans ki I'll go for masters, I'm going to join this office. But all of that just like stopped because no office is hiring क्योंकि सब जगह construction बंद है. So architecture offices have no income, so they don't have the position to hire anyone new.
Yeah.
Getting through all of that was very difficult and mentally straining, but in that time, me and some of my friends from college, we started this thing called Emblema Designs. It's a graphic design initiative. So we just wanted to use our time productively when we had it. So because everyone was free during the pandemic to the most, but what we did there was we started designing logos, etc., for NGOs. So we did some work for an NGO. It's a cancer-based NGO, which is called Cancer Care. So we did that, and then there was some pet people who care for the dogs and street animals, etc. So that was something that got us through it, I guess. I also have my colleague here, Sakshar, if you can add to this.
Yeah. Krishna, add Sakshar. Yeah, Sakshar. Hi, Sakshar.
Yeah.
How
Hi,
are you?
hi everyone. I'm good. So how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have
So
Sakshar also with us in the webinar. तो बताइए आप लोगों का I am not able
Emblema
to
Designs.
Emblema. Yeah, Emblema
yeah.
Design. Tell us briefly about your, like, how it all got started and where it is at this stage.
Okay. So like Aditi said, we started back then when she had just graduated. I was in my third year at School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal only back then. And we started with this venture of graphic designing. because we thought we could do something more than just architecture, and we thought we could use our skills and learn more as well as execute them. And firstly, we started with NGOs and we helped them, and then we wanted to go to explore the side of sustainability, and then we worked with a company called Did You Say Kabar, and that is how we started growing. And then through word of mouth, we started getting more clients, and then we had to have that balance where we were managing our college and our academics at the same time. Aditi was managing her work, and then our freelance work was going on the side. So it was a great journey for us that way, that we were always learning in a more holistic manner.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, good. Basically, मतलब जो what I can infer from your experience is that even if any challenge comes, it opens up some new windows. कुछ नई opportunity मिलती
Definitely.
है. You have to be consistent with your ideas. जैसे आप लोगों का, जैसे अदिति का तो मैं बहुत I was closely in touch with her in last 5-7 years. So I can say कि उसका जो creative bent of mind था, she always wanted to explore that. And probably the college, SPA Bhopal, and her batchmates and her juniors, her faculty must have contributed in shaping her career. And what she has started, Emblema Design, I wish your team a great success in that. मैंने भी आपका portfolio देखा है and it's quite impressive. And I'm also planning to hire your services. That's a good news. अच्छा, चलिए अब आती थी नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. जनरली स्टूडेंट्स पूछते हैं, ये मेरे से बहुत, इनफैक्ट पेरेंट्स भी बहुत पूछते हैं कि in today's time where you have unrestricted access to internet, and on top of it, due to corona, every student is now joining their classes online. So at the same time they have a lot of distractions. They watch videos non-stop, they play video games and all that. So they know that they are not totally focusing on the studies. During the class also they may like get distracted. It's very obvious. So to remain focused and how to avoid distractions, can you give some quick tips, both of you?
There's always an upside and a downside to everything, and to the internet it is, there's just so much, it's vast.
Yeah.
And even if you go on it to look for a source of information, you get distracted in a way because there's so much that comes up. You search for one thing on Google and then there's 10 links that you can see directly.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're in the 11th and 12th, you don't need the internet as much. You can just go to your mentor and they'll be able to guide you better, because how you have to get through these exams. In college, of course, you will be needing the internet a little more than you do now. But till you're in the 11th and 12th, it's best to avoid something that can cause distraction, because you have an alternate to it and a better alternate to it, which is because that is how we got through these things. Because I'm sure Himanshu sir doesn't mind you going to him with as many doubts as you have, because he was very patient with us. So I think that's the best way out over here. Because
But situation बहुत different है. The way we were interacting way back in 13-15 अभी बहुत different है. Online interaction is not that effective, I feel.
yes, but I still
But
feel
still no option is there. So whichever,
yes.
whatever is the best way we are doing.
But I still feel the internet in that way is a little unreliable, because you don't know which source you should refer to at this point. Give you wrong information and lead you on the wrong path. Even if you're just solving a question, you don't know if the information you're getting is right. But when you're going to someone who's been through the same thing, you know that you're on the right track.
Right, right. दो flip side भी है. अच्छा, now you tell me, as an architecture as a career, can you give us some insight? बच्चे क्या क्या कर सकते हैं इसके अंदर, क्या क्या options हैं, and how rewarding that career is?
So architecture as a career, I would say, if you're inclined to the creative side of things, it's very rewarding. Like personally, when you see a building that you designed stand in front of you, or like anything, an interior space that you designed, and you place, it's very rewarding. I can't tell you how it feels. But overall, even once you've done architecture, you've learned so much. You have this whole aesthetic side to yourself where you can go into anything. Like I decided to venture into graphic design while practicing architecture. There's a lot more that you can do. You can go into a lot of design fields like fashion design and interior design. Then there's city level urban planning.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot that you can venture into even after you go to architecture, because I know people who take engineering as a safe option when they haven't decided what they want to do. But if you have a creative side to yourself and you think you're leaning towards it, you can think of architecture as a possibility because it includes both engineering and creativity. Architecture is not just you're drawing a building. There's a lot you have to consider. You have to consider the different kinds of loads that come onto a building, the structural engineering of a building, how a person feels when they're inside the building.
Mm-hmm.
There's more to it than most people think there is. And
Okay.
I can't go into all the specifics of it right now, but it's very rewarding as a whole.
Great, great.
Something new. I mean, one day you're designing a cafe, one day you're designing an office building, one day it's a residence. So very less
Okay.
scope to ever get bored.
मोनोटोनी नहीं है.
बिल्कुल भी नहीं.
सही है एकदम. I also agree with that, and I'm jealous of you कि मैंने कभी because what we do is like teach the same physics and math and chemistry only to different students. So it's challenging in some different ways, but it's not as creative as your field is. And definitely it's challenging. Okay, but if you want to be successful, you have to face challenges which comes along your way. And अच्छा चलिए अब एक चीज़ और मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ. Like you were in your 11th and 12th like 5-6 years back, and you see the current scenario, and a lot of services in terms of career counseling has come up. Okay, like Infinity Scholar Hub has also associated themselves with Mindler, wherein we are offering career counseling services, which is quite objective in nature and it has got a lot of benefits to it. So, how do you see career counseling, the importance of career counseling in today's scheme of things? Because a lot of new career options have come up, जो 10 साल पहले 5 साल पहले बिल्कुल भी नहीं थे. ठीक है, they have become quite serious. Artificial intelligence है, then gaming है, UI designer, UX designer. Maybe I read somewhere that more than 2200 career options are there in India alone.
Yes, I think even when I was in my 11th and 12th, architecture wasn't something I knew about so much.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't for my parents and you telling me that there's a creative side to things, I think maybe I would have gone into engineering myself. And so I feel it's very important to have someone to tell you that this is the possibility that you can have. And especially now when there's like so much, there's so many options. Every little thing is a career option now. Digital marketing, there's just so much happening that it's very easy for someone to get confused as well. Like you might look at things and be like, okay, this looks I'm interested, but this is also something I'm interested in. And through career counseling, you might find a way that is a mix of the two, or at least you will get the path you're supposed to go on, where aage jaake you can decide if you want to do either of the two.
Yeah, I agree with you. मेरे पास काफ़ी स्टूडेंट्स पेरेंट्स आते हैं एंड आई मीट स्टूडेंट्स हु आर लाइक academically very sound, but they come to us quite late, like they have already chosen their PCB or PCM, and now they feel that they should do something related to commerce, but it's quite late. मतलब इंडिया में it's not that easy कि आप 11th-12th के बाद फिर से कॉमर्स स्ट्रीम चेंज कर सकें. तो होना चाहिए, मतलब आई स्ट्रांगली फील दैट एवरी स्टूडेंट when they are in 8th, 9th and 10th, they should, their parents and the student together, they should be going through that kind of assessment. Chali, one last question, Aditi. What has been the role of a mentor in your life?
I think mentors have been a huge support for me. I mean, initially there was you who pushed me towards architecture in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I came into architecture, there were some faculties like my thesis mentor, Mr. Saurabh Popli. He
Okay.
had a lot of career decisions after I graduated. Of course, he helped me a lot through my thesis. But the point where I was in touch with him after my thesis and he was able to guide me through what kind of job he thinks I should do. Because in architecture, you have the studio culture and the corporate culture.
Okay.
So he suggested I try out both. So like my first job with Christopher Benninger was more of a studio culture thing, and
Okay.
now is corporate.
Okay.
So once you've tried both, then you will know exactly what you prefer.
Mm-hmm.
You when you're deciding more for your future. So in that way, you always need a mentor to be telling you they've been through this, they've seen many people go through this, and they know better than you. Even like if at this point you might think कि काफी साल हो गए हैं उन्हें ये किए, but they're constantly seeing people go through it as well, and
Yeah.
always very important.
Mm-hmm.
Even now in my office, I have some people I consider my mentors who are always like I can get in touch with them anytime I need help with anything, whether it's just a software or a design problem, or if I want to discuss like what I want to do in my future. There's always someone that you can go to who can guide you through things. And of course, it's not that you take everything they say as like you have to do this, but they're always there to give you suggestions, which I would say are usually very important.
Yeah. It gives clarity actually.
Yes.
Finally, you have to make the decision. But
Yes.
when you discuss with someone whom you consider as your mentor, it gives you confidence in taking that decision.
Yes.
आजकल तो बहुत difficult है because of so many options that we have. Way back when we were in our 11th and 12th, there were only two options. Either you take science or commerce. Arts was not considered even as that you can make a
Yes.
great career out of it. But अब ऐसा नहीं है, अब तो बहुत चेंज हो गया है, सिचुएशंस काफ़ी चेंज हो गई. चलिए आदिति, so it was nice interacting with you. I really enjoyed. पुरानी यादें ताज़ा हो गई हैं. And I sincerely hope this, whatever this COVID pandemic has done to us, it will be overcome by the all the in all the professions. People will be able to overcome that situation very soon. And we have few students with us. Maybe they would like to ask questions. So Pushti and Dev and Kunj, yeah, allow them to ask the question. Aditi will take another 2-3 minutes. These are the students who are in their 11th and 12th. So
All
maybe,
right.
yeah. Yes, Kunj. आपका कैमरा ऑन कर लीजिए and then you can ask your question. Yes, Dev. बोलो बेटा.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Aditi.
Hi, good morning.
You have been in a stage like us that you are preparing for JEE. So I have a question. Like on the ground basis, our goal is to get through our syllabus and get good marks on our test. Okay. So the problem I face is that अगर आज मुझे कम मार्क्स आए तो फिर कल मैं बहुत ज़्यादा मेहनत करके अच्छे नंबर फर्स्ट आ जाऊँगा क्लास में. आई गेट फर्स्ट or second rank. Then I get slowed down that I already achieved that level of getting first rank in my class, so I don't have motivation to do it. Then वापस I'll get to the same stuff that I got bad marks, then I'll buck up. So I want to ask that how should I keep my grades consistently work on my goal?
See, I would say consistency is key, but I'm sure you're getting material constantly where sir's giving you a question bank or something that you should solve, and you're getting every time you give a test, you're solving the questions again, the questions that you got wrong, and getting your doubts cleared.
Yes, ma'am.
So as long as you're doing what sir's telling you to do, it should be fine. And when you get good marks, I feel like you should take it as more motivation to do better, because these exams are stepping stones. In the end, you have to face the final JEE exam, and that will be when it will be it. These exams may, I think if you consider कि अभी इसमें I came first and I don't need to do it further, but अगले exam में it will be a different topic overall, I guess. I'm not sure how
Yes,
you're
yes.
going, but it's a different topic and you have to know all your topics well to do well in the final exam. So it won't help if you do well in one exam and then in another you just stop focusing on what you're doing. It
इसमें
will be a consistent effort.
इसमें देव मैं आपको एक चीज़ और बोलना चाहता हूँ कि अदिति ने भी काफ़ी अच्छी इंसाइट दी है. Even if you are even if you have a rank 1 in your batch, it doesn't mean that you will be all India rank 1 in your JEE main or JEE advanced paper. Okay, because maybe for that particular paper you did very well, but you have to ask your faculty, whoever set the paper, you have to ask them about RPI. ठीक है, मैं आपको बहुत बार पहले भी बता चुका हूँ, रैंक पोटेंशियल इंडेक्स, that if you score same marks in the actual JEE, what would be your score and are you happy with that? आप आपके बैच में रैंक 1 है बट ऑल इंडिया लेवल पे आपका RPI लेट्स से 15,000 आ रहा है and you are aiming at top 1000, then it will give you a boost to continue with your studies more rigorously and score well. Just don't focus on the rank but study well so that you attain that kind of RPI, rank potential index.
Okay sir, thank
ठीक
you
है, कंसिस्टेंसी तो बेटा आपको मेंटेन हमेशा रखनी पड़ेगी, ठीक है, इसलिए मॉक टेस्ट दीजिए जितने दे सकते हैं और टेस्ट एनालिसिस भी कीजिए, ठीक है. या पुष्टि, आप कुछ पूछना चाहते हैं बेटा?
Yes, sir. First of all, good morning, sir.
Good
No,
morning.
now it's afternoon. So good afternoon, sir, and also Aditi Didi. I want to ask her that, like, did she focus on her board exams? And if yes, then how did she manage both? Or doing JEE preparation along with doing boards?
Yes,
Hi,
Aditi.
Pushti. Good afternoon. So I think it was our batch where they started this thing where your boards and your JEE marks matter equally, or there was a percentage that they needed.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, sir was teaching us with Fiji, and they started a thing where they made us solve a lot of board questions as well in the Fiji classes. And they would focus on how the answers should be written, how the presentation should be. And I think it was the whole process that sir took us through that helped me. There was nothing I could have done on my own to focus on both. It's very difficult.
मतलब बेसिकली पुष्टि इसमें ऐसा है कि दिस 2 years of grilling process of studying for JEE and at the same time focusing or maybe aspiring to get a good percentage in board exam, it is equally challenging for all the students, not only you. और इस process में ये जो rigors of preparation है, if you go through that process systematically, finally the end result will be great. ठीक है ना, वो डाउट्स आते हैं माइंड में, अदिति को भी आए होंगे अपने 11th-12th में, शी हैज़ क्लियर्ड, शी हैज़ गॉट अ गुड रैंक, तो अभी उसको सब शायद इजी लगता है, बट ड्यूरिंग 11th and 12th इट्स क्वाइट स्ट्रेसफुल एंड द ओनली थिंग इज़ दैट यू हैव टू मेंटेन योर कंसिस्टेंसी. और आई नो यू पर्सनली पुष्टि, तो आप जिस तरह से अभी कर रहे हैं, द लेवल ऑफ सिंसेरिटी दैट यू हैव and the way you are preparing for JEE, I am pretty sure that you will be like successful in both. But always be in touch with your mentor. At least out of the 3 subjects, one faculty you should treat as your mentor. ठीक है, फिजिक्स के भी हो सकते हैं सर, वो केमिस्ट्री के भी हो सकते हैं, ठीक है, एंड दे विल गिव यू सम इनसाइट सो दैट यू आर ऑलवेज ऑन द राइट ट्रैक. तो एक और चीज़ इंपॉर्टेंट है इसके अंदर, आप मेहनत तो कर ही रहे हैं एकेडमिक फ्रंट में, आप बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ रहे हैं, सब मॉक टेस्ट दे रहे हैं, स्कोर को एनालाइज कर रहे हैं, बट एट द सेम टाइम बी इन टच विद योर फैकल्टी. ठीक है, एटलीस्ट वंस और ट्वाइस अ वीक यू हैव 1-to-1 डिस्कशन विद द फैकल्टी, वो आपको काफ़ी हेल्प करेगा. ठीक है, और फाइनली 2 साल के बाद में पुष्टि आपको मिठाई लेके आनी है, ठीक है, विल टेक अ ग्रेट पार्टी जब सिलेक्शन होगा उसके बाद, ठीक है बेटा.
I would also like to add to that, saying that there'll be times when you think you're doing the right thing and you're spending a lot of time on something, but you may not be doing exactly what's needed, and then that will turn out to be a waste of time. So if you're constantly in touch with someone who can guide you, they'll be actually able to tell you that you're doing what you should do. So it's best to use your time productively like that, because right now I think you have a huge time crunch with like everything that you have to do. So it's best to utilize it as good as you can.
Okay, any
Okay,
more
sure.
questions?
Thank
Any more questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Kunj?
Hello,
हाँ बेटा.
sir. I want to ask a question that they have you completed whole syllabus of JEE for JEE exam, or have you left something like that? It is very difficult. I cannot do it, and I have left this chapter.
No, I didn't leave anything. I was strong at some subjects, I was weak at some, but I don't think I had the scope to leave anything out. You always know a little of everything at least, so that if you get a question, you're not blank. You know at least what this is about. So at least you might be able to, like, there's a chance that you're able to answer the question even if you're not very good at that topic. So I wouldn't suggest leaving out anything, but I would also suggest having strong subjects or topics.
Yes, Kunj. तो अदिति आपको ये कहना चाह रही है कि बिकॉज द रीज़न आई एम सेइंग दिस इज़ बिकॉज यू आर स्टिल इन 11th, अभी आप नेक्स्ट ईयर 12th में जाएंगे. तो डोंट बी इन दैट पॉलिसी दैट कि एक दो टॉपिक्स नहीं करेंगे, इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक्स नहीं करेंगे या एसएचएम नहीं करेंगे तो मे बी स्टिल आई विल बी एबल टू मेक इट. आजकल जो क्वेश्चंस आते हैं दे आर मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी इन नेचर. योर मैथ शुड बी स्ट्रॉन्ग, योर फिजिक्स शुड बी स्ट्रॉन्ग, केमिस्ट्री शुड बी स्ट्रॉन्ग. In physics also, if you get a question, it will not be from one specific chapter. Electrostatics के question में आपको work per energy का concept भी आएगा. On top of it, it will be clubbed with concept of electrostatics as well as SHM. तो अगर आप let's say आपका SHM weak है, तो you will not be able to gain proper insight into what the questioner is, the examiner is trying to ask you, and you will probably get it wrong. So इसलिए still you have lot of time. Don't think that you will be in a position to leave any topic of any subject. The only thing is that अभी आप 11th में हैं, तो maybe you have not touched upon all the topics to that same level of understanding. वो चलता है, ठीक है ना. आप 11th 12th का सारे के सारे सब्जेक्ट्स के सारे चैप्टर्स को एटलीस्ट एक एक बार आप फिनिश कर लीजिए टिल अक्टूबर और लेट्स से एट मैक्स टिल नवंबर. And the actual improvement in your score, your improvement in your performance in various tests will actually come during revision. क्योंकि जो फर्स्ट टाइम आप किसी चीज़ को पढ़ते हैं, ठीक है ना, तो आपकी जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग की लेयर है वो ओनली 30% ही बिल्ड होती है. द 70% ऑफ योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग डेवलप्स और द रियल इंसाइट अबाउट दैट टॉपिक डेवलप्स ड्यूरिंग रिविजन. एंड आई स्टिल रिमेंबर जब आदिति ने 11th 12th किया था एंड शी डिड हर आई थिंक दिस रिविजन very systematically for 2 months. She was working very hard. I still remember those days. वो मॉर्निंग में 8:30 9 o'clock इंस्टीट्यूट आ जाती थी और शाम को लंच वंच यहीं करके फिर शाम को जाती थी. एंड शी वॉज टोटली फोकस्ड ऑन somehow getting good rank, and that is why she was able to sail through both board as well as JEE main. तो आपको भी मैं यही सजेस्ट करूँगा कि आप जिस भी लेवल तक जितनी भी अंडरस्टैंडिंग के साथ आप पढ़ पा रहे हैं पढ़िए, बट डोंट ट्राई टू लीव एनी टॉपिक. एंड ड्यूरिंग रिविजन आई एम प्रिटी श्योर कि स्टूडेंट लाइक यू विल बी एबल टू like give proper justice to that topic and subject. ठीक है कुंज?
Yes.
ठीक है ना. ठीक है. any other questions from the students? तो अदिति आई गेस स्टूडेंट्स ने अपने कुछ क्वेश्चंस क्वेरीज आपसे क्लैरिफाई कर ली हैं एंड they must have got benefited from this. कृष्णा स्ट्रीम एंड कर दे. स्ट्रीम एंड कर दे.